What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hangout spot where you already know it's real talk, boxing talk, live from my man cave. It's your boy Johnny, and we are live and direct. I am your host for another edition of the Hangout Spot Live. This time, a special edition. Usually, we go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I thought it was fitting to do this show on Monday because we had one hell of a weekend when it came to boxing. So I figured the sooner we can get on live to break it down, the better be for all my viewers. But first and foremost, before I go any further, I just want to let you guys know I'm not doing this solo. I'm here with my man, Anthony Sims Jr., Black Sugar Sims. The Magician is here, light heavyweight contender, 23-2, 20 knockouts. You know how me and him do it up. So I had him come on, or I'm going to have him come on in just a couple of minutes because I thought it was fitting for him to help me break down a spectacular main event. I mean, I was thoroughly entertained by it. David Benavidez, David Morrell this weekend, light heavyweight, two undefeated guys. Somebody's had to go. And as you know, David Benavidez wins this fight by unanimous decision. And it was a solid card, from top to bottom. So we're going to get Black Sugar Sims in here in just one moment so he can help me break down everything that went down on Saturday night because we had a really, really entertaining night of boxing. But before we do that, you know the deal. There's ground rules here. If you are watching this live on YouTube, make sure you smash that like button. The goal is to get this channel out to the algorithm of other boxing fans so that they know we're rocking out every week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and sometimes a third show. Last week, we did 3 shows. So for those of you that rocked out with me, you saw on Tuesday, we had 140-pound, undefeated, young, sensational Ernesto Tito Mercado. He was here with us. If you did not see that interview, make sure you check it out at the Hangout spot. It was very, very entertaining. Tito was calling everybody out, from Shakur Stevenson to Keyshawn Davis to Tank Davis to people in his division. It was very, very entertaining. He's a very brash and flashy young man. And then Wednesday, we had middleweight prospect, 3-0, 3 knockouts, Alexis Chop Chop Chaparro, who fights under the Most Valuable Promotions banner with Jake Paul as manager, is the great Amanda Serrano. That was a fantastic interview. He's an awesome young man. Thursday, we broke down, and previewed what we were going to see this Saturday, and the chat was cooking. So make sure if you have not subscribed to the Hangout spot, make sure you subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. We got to grow this channel to epic proportions in 2025. And the chat is open. The super chats are open. You're going to want to get involved because this weekend, like I said, I thought it was a fire card. Let's see what my man Anthony Sims Jr. thinks. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my brother, light heavyweight contender, Black Sugar Sims, Anthony Sims Jr., the Magician is in the building. Welcome back to the Hangout spot, my man.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Nah, man, listen, I love having you here, man. And, I thought it was fitting, to bring you back today because this weekend, it went down. And you had 2 guys undefeated that fight in your division. And that was a fight that was much anticipated because these two were on a collision course at 168. Never happened. Both of them moved up, had a fight at 175. Benavidez fought Vodsek, I believe, and won by unanimous decision. You had David Morrell that moved up and fought a Hot Rod Kalajic, I believe his last name is. And he won by decision. A lot of people weren't impressed with either one of their performances, in their 175 debut. But I believe that they delivered a really, really good fight this Saturday. David Benavidez wins this fight by unanimous decision. And then we had another, a good PBC card, man, a good PBC card on Amazon Prime. It started out with Jesus Ramos. He opened up against Jeison Rosario. That fight was at 160. Pitbull Cruz against Angel Fierro was a barn burner. We'll get into that in a little bit. And then a co-main event, we had Stephen Fulton, man, Stephen Scooter Fulton against Brandon Figueroa. That was a rematch of their fight from 3 years ago. And Stephen Fulton actually impressed me. In fact, I got to eat crow for that. So we'll get into that in a second. But let's start out, champ. Let's start out with the main event, man, because like I said, personally, I was looking forward to this fight because I do believe that this fight, even though it was supposed to happen at 168, I thought it would be better at 175 because these are two big guys. They already had one fight, at the division. So you kind of figure that at this point in their career, one fight in, they would be more comfortable at the weight, right? They would fill out a little bit better. And I thought it was entertaining. I mean, David Benavidez does what he does, man. And I just want to get your take on it because I was impressed with not necessarily David's offense because we kind of know what to expect from David Benavidez, right? But I was very, very impressed with his defense too. I think he's a very underrated defensive fighter. He did some good things in there. His reflexes are really, really sharp for a guy that big, which I think is pretty impressive. But there was a point in that fight, champ, that I thought that David Benavidez was going to wear down Morrell and possibly stop him later in that fight, and he didn't. So I give credit to Morrell. He finished that fight on his feet and loses by unanimous decision. But what was your overall take of that fight, champ?
Styles make fights. Styles make fights at the end of the day. And there's a rule in boxing. Boxing is different whether you're 2 inches inside that ring or 2 inches outside that ring, which means it may look one way to you. Fighters should fight this way. They should move around this way. This should be the game plan. But when you actually get in here with these type of styles, somebody like Benavidez, which I've been in the ring with, he sparred twice. That's a guy, that type of pressure is draining. Even when he's not hitting you, when he's continuously on you, it's not an easy fight to fight. Dave Morrell, elusive southpaw. Think about southpaw boxers, Erislandy Lara, King Kong, Mike Perez. These guys are dangerous because they're southpaw. They make it awkward fights. Anybody that that's never fought before, when you're orthodox fighting a southpaw, it slows the entire fight down. Even if you prepare for this, it slows the entire fight down because now it's like you're fighting the mirrors. It's the opposite. So like how I feel as far as the overall fight, Morrell made this a boring fight. That's my take on it. I think Benavidez did everything he's supposed to. He had great defense. He had great reflexes. But Morrell, at this point in your career, you got to take those chances. Big fights like that, especially that type of style, you got to take chances. And I didn't know if like he was playing possum or if he was waiting or if he was, taking breaks. I couldn't really read David because the entire fight is what I'm trying to understand. Like, okay, is he just catching Benavidez's punches or is he trying to tire him out? Is his plan to wait to the later rounds? But to me, I just feel like David really didn't have an answer. And he can jump around and play. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, he can jump around and play.
I can.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Yeah, he can smile at the camera and act like he was unfazed. But inside that ring, he didn't have an answer. When Benavidez was putting pressure, Benavidez was trying to make the fight. He's trying to make it happen. Benavidez showed, I say, great defense against the southpaw. Fighting the southpaw and deflecting punches, especially with a sharp southpaw that changes angles and always shifty, that's a hard fight to fight, especially as a big man. But I think overall, man, I was impressed with Benavidez's ability to fight inside, outside, off the ropes. He showed that he's the champion for a reason. He has a lot of experience. Versus how many fights Morrell has? 11 fights, 12 fights, maybe.
This was his 12th fight. He was 11-0 with 9 knockouts coming in. Yep.
I mean, his 12th fight. Now, Benavidez has been around a long time. Skills pay the bills at the end of the day. So I knew that Benavidez was going to win. I just didn't know if Benavidez was going to win because he catches David Morrell making a mistake, or Benavidez is going to win because Morrell's just not going to do enough.
So you thought that was the key. You thought that if Morrell would have engaged or made this more of a fight, that it would have been more of a better performance for Benavidez. Like for example, you think that he could have possibly stopped him if he did?
Not stop him, but you still have the chance. Okay, I'll do a flashback. Trinidad versus Bernard Hopkins, right? If Bernard Hopkins didn't take the chances, even though he's boxing on the back foot, if he didn't take the chances, he would have never clipped Trinidad and got him out, right? Because everyone almost thought that, he was going to lose because he fights on the back foot. But if you watch the fight, Hopkins is whooping Trinidad's ass off the back foot almost the entire fight. And then he took it to him. That's the way you have to fight somebody like Benavidez. You cannot allow him to bully you. So you got to get out in the first early rounds and you got to roll the dice. It's an ugly fight. But it's just like if you're going to fight George Foreman, Ron Lyles, go watch that fight. One of the most exciting fights ever. In the first round, they're going at it. Facts. You got to take the chance, like Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler. When these styles collide, you can't sit back and go tit for tat. The bigger guy is going to win if you don't clip him. That's the only way. So I mean, Morrell, his camp, he has a great coach in his corner, but as far as their preparation, maybe they prepared right and Morrell wasn't listening. I don't know. But the game plan should have been to try to hurt him as soon as you can because Benavidez is a slow starter. He's a bigger man, and he gets stronger with time. Benavidez, you don't worry about the first 5 or 6 rounds with him. It's the second 6, because that's when he's going to pick up and them body shots too. Morrell, I didn't think he liked those body shots. Those body shots, you don't feel them the first 2 or 3 rounds. You eat those. There's nothing. And all of a sudden, oh my God, my legs is tired. And why am I breathing so hard? Like, what's going on? This is a horror movie. Like, this is awful. What's happening right? And you in the corner, like, what's going on? You really, it's like what is it? It's like a nightmare you're living in. When them body shots set in, that's the only way I can explain it to you. It's almost like you're in the ocean and the shark's circling you and you run out of gas. Now, what you gonna do now? You about to drown. You got no oxygen. You got nothing. You're tired. And I don't know, man. I was really upset with the fight because you look at Pitbull and Angel. Now that was probably that fight can go down as probably one like the toughest toe-to-toe fights in the century, because these little guys is going at it the entire fight. Not one time did they take a break. They fought till they almost dropped. That's how I expected the Benavidez fight and Dave Morrell fight to be. But they took that from us, like what's his name, Shakir Stevenson, when he fought that Dominican guy.
Yeah, De Los Santos.
De Los Santos, man, that guy got popped. He got popped. He did what's the guy named Venezuela?
Rayo Valenzuela.
Yeah, Rayo. That guy got popped. But what? Shakir wouldn't give him the chance because Shakir would never roll the dice. You can be a fighter off the back foot. Andre Ward made a style of it. He fought some killers. Abraham, he fought some real killers off the back foot and did it successfully. But Shakir, when he fought this Dominican cat, what did he do? He stayed safe the whole time, and he never really rolled the dice. He never really stuck his neck out there, so you didn't get the fights you wanted. You didn't get the interaction. Same thing with the Benavidez Dave Morrell fight. That's my take on it.
That's an interesting take. A couple of things that you touched on a couple of things that you said I want to touch on.
Yeah.
You're right. David Benavidez is a slow starter, but I thought he started this one fairly quick.
It's the thing. He started it quick, but it's like knowing him being a slow starter, you got to be even quicker. It's push and pull boxing. That's why styles make fights. If you got a pressure fighter, then you got to try to make him box. If you got a boxer, you got to make him fight. If you got a brawler, you got to make him try to be slick. If you got a guy that can only fight going forward, you got to push him back. So Benavidez likes to fight going forward. That's what he does, And he chops at your body. I say that you got 2 ways you can fight him. You can try to clip him in the first early rounds, or you can be like Andre Ward, and I say the first 5 or 6 is just move. Make him frustrated. When he gets close, tie him up until the ref gets close to deducting the point. Just frustrate him, poke him. Keep the jab busy. If you see something, get it off. But if not, just frustrate him the first 6 rounds. That's only 2 ways to fight this guy. As far as just sitting there in between rounds on the ropes, just getting hit. Even if you're coming out with flurry, 6 or 7 punches, the judges don't see it that way. All they see is Benavidez whooping on you in the beginning of the round and whooping on you in the end of the round. They don't see the middle rounds,
No, that's a great point. I thought it was crazy because going into this fight, I thought we were going to see what you said. Morrell trying to come out early to impose his will because there was a lot of hostility between these two.
A lot of
naturally didn't like each other. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to come out and I'm going to earn my respect. I'm going to make a statement here.
Yeah.
Because he kept saying he's not really the monster that everybody thinks he is. So I'm thinking that you're going to go out and prove that whatever he got, you're going to come strong with that, right? You're going to come out strong. You're going to impose your will. You're going to gain that respect. And he didn't do that.
No.
One other thing that I want to touch on is the body work.
Yeah.
David Benavidez for 175. I don't think that I think he's probably has the fastest hands at 175. You have very fast hands as well. So you guys probably are the 2 with the fastest hands in that division. That body, those punches to the body come really, really fast and sharp.
They add up. They add up, man. And if you're not used to that, then it's gonna be a hard night, especially with those 10 ounces on. Those 10 ounces, even if it's a slap, they hurt.
Yeah.
Benavidez, him being tall and long, he knows how to reach around your elbows. Even when you think you done pulled your elbow back, Benavidez, he's mastered leaning. If you look at him, he's standing straight up. He don't bend forward. He leans to the left and he leans to the right and he reaches. And he reaches behind your elbow. That's like, you got to really study this guy. You look at his body shots, He don't shoot down the middle. He reaches around. He makes you bring your elbows back. Then he goes up the middle and throws a 7. Pop, 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 pop. And Morrell didn't have an answer. You look at Morrell, look at the left side of Morrell's face. He was getting hit with right hooks all night. He's just standing there. I think Benavidez threw like seven of these. Pull the hand down hook. Pull the hand down hook. He
I
threw
was
that like
just gonna
7
bring
times.
that up. Like,
Yeah.
did you see how many of those he did that was successful?
Over and over and over. It's like, okay, first time, shame on me. Second time, shame on you. Third time, fool me again.
Yeah, he did that about 5 or 6 times in the fight. Easily.
It makes me
Maybe
think.
more.
Which makes me think you wasn't playing possum. Maybe you really got hurt and you're trying to figure out like what are you going to do. You don't know where you're at. In a temple shot like that, it's the one you don't see. That's why fighting southpaws, slick southpaws on the back foot is dangerous for both parties because it's a weird angle where it's like right down the middle. It's either my right hand if I'm orthodox, or if you're a southpaw, it's your left hand down the middle. It's a thin line you walk. When you're fighting, you're fighting a mirror of yourself. It's the craziest thing, man. People try. It's an art form to be able to fight. The opposite of you. It's an art form. You look at Pernell Whitaker. He mastered fighting both sides, orthodox fighters and southpaws. That's an art form to be able to do that. So I say Benavidez to be able to handle this, this slick southpaw, elusive southpaw, powerful southpaw, like the way he did. But before I even say that, I knew that the outcome wasn't going to be what we hoped for, and this is how I knew. I'm 29, about to be 30, but as a fighter, I can always read body language in press conferences, face-offs, whatever. And I seen the Benavidez Morrell face-off. I saw Benavidez as a man that wanted to inflict harm, and I saw Morrell, somebody playing and looking around and nervous, not locking eyes, wearing sunglasses, doing all the wrong things. In the boxing world, as a man, we know. We mean business, like Mayorga or Trinidad or Bernard Hopkins, it's eye to eye. It's everybody else is irrelevant. It's just me and you right now. When we mean business, Tyson Fury, Usyk type of stare down. It's just us two. Everybody else is irrelevant. But with Morrell, he's dancing, he's laughing, he's arguing, he's shouting. I say the body language didn't match up with me as far as what he's going to get out there and do. Benavidez, he handled everything like a man the entire time, and I just knew from the start of the press conference, like, he's gonna get out here and dance and act stupid.
Yo, you cooking, champ, and this is the reason why I wanted you on, because I wanted a fighter's perspective. Because as fans, when we see that, like, I'm one of them dudes that I like press conferences to get spicy.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I'm old school. Like, there should not be. If you obviously there's a mutual respect, right? But going into a fight where two guys want to knock each other's heads off, it shouldn't be any lovey-dovey stuff. However,
I'm happy you said that. I'm not to cut you off, but what you just said just struck a nerve, because I hate the fact that boxing's become so fucking soft. It's become soft. Excuse my language. It's become soft. Why do you have managers, saying, love and let's not argue, and no. This is war. What are you talking about? Let these men get up there and say whatever's on their mind. If it's F you and, look at Mayorga. Like, if a man reach over and slap your woman on the ass, God forbid that, not that you something you should do, but that's going to create a real fight. It's my Sugar Shane Mosley, Mayorga. That's real war. So it shouldn't be no much, morality and all that. In professional boxing, that goes out the window. At war, there's no rules. Press conference, face-offs. Why you seen back in the day, Riddick, bro, almost knocked the cat out. You talking about real face-off? He's real angry. It's not a whole bunch of people on the way. Get out the way. We two men about to fight. Everybody else irrelevant. Manager, promoter, move. Yeah, all these people on the way now. It's not Mike. They scared of Mike Tyson's, but you're not gonna get that type of rawness unless you put us in that environment to be what we are, which we're beast. We get rowdy. We want to let us beat our chest and say what we got to say. Don't get in the way and say, calm it down. Let's keep it respectful. Respectful. We about to beat the shit out of each other.
Exactly.
We about to really get down. Like, we about to get down as if we outside and there's nobody watching in the parking lot. We about to throw these.
Absolutely, man.
And you want me to be calm right now? What? You tripping.
That's why you're my man.
You tripping, man. You tripping.
Yeah, man. This is like I said, after the fight, if you want to show each other respect, I get it. I understand. You
Absolutely.
share the ring with each
Sportsmanship.
other.
Yes.
You won the battle. You both walked
Yes.
out. You know, um, you
Couldn't
know,
agree
with,
with you more.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
absolutely. But before the fight, when you want to knock each other's heads off, there, I mean,
Before the fight, there's a line you don't cross. You know, as far as you want to put your hands on them or something, that's between y'all two. If you get aggressive like that, this is the thing. It's not rehearsed. You don't know what you're walking into. He may look at you and you look at him like, "What's up?" And he look at you like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Well, what's up?" And then it turned into something. It shouldn't be no rehearse. You know how some of this stuff look rehearsed. Now I'm not gonna say no names, but some of this boxing stuff it look like it's for the views. You look at 80s, 90s matchups. It's personal and let it be that way. We're about to fight. Afterwards, we can make peace, and we could be like Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward laying in the hospital 4 times. Every time, in the
well,
same room,
yeah,
pissing blood and talking and laughing about how we went to war afterwards. But before, in order to get that outcome, which you don't see in boxing too much anymore, you gotta let them see it be like their most organic, most raw. That's why I changed my name to Black Sugars. I can be my most. That's what sugar is before they died and turned white. It's black. It's organic, raw sugar. Right. At its most organic state, it's dangerous. Boxing, you let these people, be their personality. Javante, they let Javante be himself. Right. Right or wrong, good or bad, that's not the point. He's expressing himself and he's giving y'all a flavor that you wouldn't get unless you let him go through the shit, go through his funk.
hmm
No, that's what makes fighters. We got to go through our funk, ups and downs, arguing, fighting, back and forth until we reach that. Roberto Duran after he got knocked out by Tommy Hearns, or Sugar Ray Leonard after he lost to Roberto Duran. Like that second version of yourself from fighting with somebody. But it all starts with what? With letting a fighter be themselves. Not to get into a rant or anything, but that's what boxing is missing. They're not letting fighters be themselves. And I'm not talking about dressing how they want or being flashy. No. Let them let them let them sit right there and not no desk. No, this whole boxing thing they do now where they sit at a desk and talk to each other. No. That's too professional. No, no, no. You need to have them on the couch the way they used to do. Have them sitting on the couch talking. Don't have a whole bunch of security. Let them feel like if some stuff was to jump off right now, it's just them two. Like that's where you get real boxing. That's how it's made.
for sure, man.
Go ahead, my fault, man. That that
No,
that
no, you cooking, man. You cooking, man. I'm letting you
yeah,
cook because everything you're
touch a
saying is
nerve.
everything I feel, man. You know what I'm saying? This is why
Yeah,
boxing is different today. And
man.
you gotta it's okay to have a personality. It's okay to talk trash. It's okay to want to knock the other person's head off and tell them that before you fight. Like I said, after the
It's all
fight,
right.
yeah, absolutely, man. And that's why I wanted to get your perspective because some boxing fans will look at Morrell's attitude during that press conference and say, "Well, he's just being relaxed."
No, no, no. You
You
want to
don't
know
see it.
a similar press conference to that press conference? Jared Anderson Bacoli.
Right, right. Okay. Yes.
Dismissive, joking, he ha ha. That's where you notice the difference between men and grown and I say boys that think they're men. It's a difference
Right.
as far as how your approach. That's what changes you. I feel like 29 inch and 30. I realize now what makes you a professional is not so much almost how you do it, but it's your approach to what you do. It's your reaction to what somebody else does. How do you carry yourself? How do you present yourself? How do you deal with when someone gets in your face and points their finger? Benavidez never looked like once where he was threatened or felt like he was going to get angry. Not once. Even when the other guys, when Morrell's manager put his finger in his face, what did Benavidez do? Benavidez is smart. He beat him with his words. He said, "That's why
Right.
you're not getting all your money, Morrell." That hit a whole nother pocket. If it's not a truth, then why would you get so angry?
He was still pissed after the fight. Did you see the post-fight
Yeah, I
when
saw it. I
he was
saw it.
grabbing David's hand and
Hey,
arm and
mad,
like,
mad,
what are you
mad.
doing, bro? You're a promoter. You're a manager. Like,
Damn.
why are you getting in the face of a fighter? Then there's got to be some truth to it. I was
That's
thinking the
because
same thing.
that's because now they forgot what the most dangerous thing in the road is. It's a fighter. But when you don't let a fighter be themselves, then you don't feel no threat. You don't realize David could put you to sleep if he wanted to right there, and you wouldn't remember your name when you woke up. You have you eating out of tube if you wanted to. That's what Mike Tyson or Riddick Bowe or Buster Douglas would have did. But that's
For
how
sure.
boxing changed. You think you can get in my face? Boxing ain't changed with me. No man's about to get in my face, point fingers, none of that. I've been in sparring sessions, some random guys trying to talk. Like, shut the fuck up. Excuse my language. Like, shut up. Who you
Nah,
think you
you
talking to? Hey, hold the sparring. Hold up. Hey, tell this man shut up and get out the gym. He ain't in here right now, so shut up. It's just like boxing has lost its "what if I punch you in your face for you saying this to me" factor. That's what boxing is missing. Like, what if I just to punch you in your face? Not that violence solves anything, but this is a violent sport, and you're speaking to me as if I'm not a violent. I don't practice the art of war. But you're talking to me reckless at the mouth in front of these cameras, you pointing at me, and you taking this fighter's money. We about to sit here and fight almost to the death, and you about to make all this man's money. You're the last person to be in my face talking. So Benavidez showed me, like, you know what, this man's smart. He can flip it on you in a minute, and he could press some buttons, and that's what he did. Because he shut Morrell up, and now it's just his manager talking the whole time. Like, why are you talking? You're not fighting.
pretty much.
But I mean, he just showed you, like, that's the real deal. That's how you handle shit. That's how you handle. I say when somebody tries to get underneath your skin, right? You don't shut down, and that's what Morrell did. He shut down. I think he beat him from that point right there. From that point moving forward, he already won the chess match because the fight is won sometimes on paper. It can be won at a press conference. It can be won at the weigh-in. It can be won in a handshake when you squeeze his hand too hard or yank him, and he think he's the strongest thing walking. You just yanked him out of his shoes and fucked up his head. Like that's like the sweet science of boxing. So watching Benavidez, I saw so many chess moves that went over people's head, and I was like, "Woo, that boy cold!" Like, wow.
I love the way you break shit down. I am here with Black Sugar, Anthony Sims Jr., light heavyweight contender. He is in the building helping me break down the fights for this
Uh,
weekend. David
uh,
Benavidez, David Morrell. And if
yeah.
you have not hit that like button, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the Hangout spot. But yeah, man. So what do you think is next? Because they're saying that that potentially David is in line to fight the winner of Beterbiev Bivol. That rematch is going down February 22nd.
Now, this is where I'll be completely. I'm not even brutally honest, but I have to be as realistic as possible and put it. Put it into a language where if you're not boxing, you understand. Benavidez is a monster, right? But there's different types of power when you're dealing with light heavyweights or heavyweights, right? You got power like say a Caleb Plant's power. It's a calculated power, or even a Bivol's power, which is accumulation power, which is same punch over and over. Usually it'll put you down with Bivol. It's not one punch power, right? Benavidez, he's a big puncher, but he'll put you down from wearing you out to the body to the point where you don't have the energy to recover from those shots. And
He's
you
not a
ready.
one punch light heavyweight.
Exactly. Now, Beterbiev, he is. I
Right.
mean, man he fought heavyweight in the Olympics. No, like this man is he's a
Yes.
strong.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
He's strong. He showed you he can hit you with a hook, uppercut. If you know that hook that Benavidez kept hitting Dave Morrell with, he kept pulling his glove down and hitting him.
Mm-hmm.
If Beterbiev hit Morrell with that one time, he'd have been out. That's the difference of power we're talking about. Not to take away Benavidez's power, but to put it, say, in the terms for people that just know a few boxing names. You're talking about the difference between, I would say, like a Floyd Mayweather right hand, which is, Floyd Mayweather had power breaking you down over and over and over, right? When a Tommy Hearns right hand, if he touches you with his right hand, it's going to change the whole outcome of the fight.
It's different.
Deontay Wilder right hand, or George Foreman right hand. Talking about, like, punchers. Even me, I'm not a one punch knockout. I'm a boxer puncher, But some people just had that skill of power like that, and that's what Beterbiev has. I think Beterbiev would beat Benavidez. It wouldn't. Only way I say Benavidez wins against Beterbiev, which I've seen Beterbiev get put down one time. We fought on the same card, and I think the guy's name was Callum Johnson, maybe Callum Smith. I can't remember. I can't recall. But he clipped him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He did go down once. I remember. Yeah.
Hey, he dropped him. He clipped him. But I think Beterbiev has been down twice in his career.
Might have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might have twice.
But it's there. You can knock him out, but that's one you got to roll the dice. You might get clipped, but as a fighter, it's like things you're already aware of. I might get clipped. I might get dropped. But I'm gonna get him before he get me. That's how you got to think of it. It sounds wild, but that's That's the thought process you gotta have in order to beat guys like Benavidez. You're not going to beat him in the long run. You saw Bivol was one of the greatest boxers, of our generation right now, and he couldn't outbox Benavidez. You couldn't keep Benavidez off of him. Benavidez hit so hard that he broke Bivol's hands. And I don't know what, like, I didn't know if Bivol's hands had healed for this fight right now. Like, that was just a few months ago.
Yeah, that was what, in October.
Yeah, it was just like they didn't really take no time off. But that just shows how Turk has changed the whole demographic of boxing right now. The whole algorithm. Your hands broken? I want you to fight in 2 months. Yes. Yes, your matches. Like I'm fighting.
So that's interesting. My man Wax is in the building. Agree. Big power difference. I agree. I mean, like I said, David Benavidez is more of a cumulative puncher.
Absolutely.
With
He's
volume.
sneaky.
Yeah, he'll beat you
Sneaky,
with
sneaky.
volume. But he also applies a lot of mental pressure as well because he's walking you down, right? A lot of
Absolutely.
people don't realize that's huge in a fight. That mental pressure, right, where you can't just hit to get this guy off you. Everything, but
No.
that's what Better Beef does as well.
So this will be the fight that we wanted from Dave Morrell and Benavidez. You will get that fight between Benavidez and Benavidez. You're going to get that fight because here's the thing: Benavidez may do like what he did with Angulo. Guy I fought that was a puncher. First few rounds, he kind of laid on the ropes and let him throw his shots because Benavidez is up in age. It might be a route to take him in the later rounds. But Benavidez, I think, I sparred Bivol and Benavidez. I would say that the power is different. Bivol's power is sharp. It's sharp, right? And you don't really feel pain. Like he caught me the right hand, but I turned on it, but it ripped my whole headgear off, right? I turned on the last minute, and I was like, wow, like that was crazy. I didn't even see it. I just happened to turn my head. I sparred Benavidez, when he hits you, like it hurts. Like that type of he hits you, it hurts. It's different types of power. But Benavidez, I think that type of power you don't you look at his past opponents, Marcus Brown, those guys you broke those guys up.
Absolutely.
So the only chance is, man, stand there and train with them. Smuggle the fire. That's the old school way. You got to smuggle the fire out. Try to, and get burnt alive trying to do it. That's the only way.
I hear that. So you definitely don't have Bivol winning this rematch at all, and
No,
setting up a trilogy.
I don't know how like the trilogy would happen because I don't think that Bivol can hurt Benavidez. I think in order for Bivol to hurt Benavidez, the tempo will have to slow down. And it'll have to be it'll have to be a slower tempo for him to time Benavidez, right? But in early rounds, Benavidez is dangerous. And while you're waiting for your chance and he's beating on your arms and breaking down your shoulders and your hips, when you finally get your chance, you might not have the gas tank you want. Your arms, your hand might be broke. Bivol didn't probably expect for him to get so hard blocking a punch. You're blocking a punch and you break your hand. Not that you even threw a punch, So that has to be psychological in his own. Guy's punching so hard that he's breaking your hands, he's breaking your forearms down. I don't see it being different like like the trilogy we had between Triple G and Canelo. They both had power where you gotta catch somebody slipping. But this right here, no, I salute Bivol for going in there to do it again. But with a little ring, you're gonna have the same outcome. Thank you for saying that. It's the ring. It's the ring. That's the reason we're having the outcome that we had the last fight.
So the smaller the ring, the more benefit for Better Beef.
Man, the smaller the ring, I just forgot about that, man. That ring they fought is probably maybe 15 by 15. If they're lucky, 16 by 16. You look at the ring that Sugar Ray Leonard fought Marvin Hagler in, is a 22 by 22. You can live. That's why the game has changed to the point the ring got smaller and they allowed certain people in the game to be successful. They wouldn't be successful in a big ring. Not saying Benavidez wouldn't, but you got to imagine the people that could get away from him in a bigger ring. Marcus Brown would have got away probably. Bivol would have got away, tired him out. It's like you need space to create opportunity. If you're in this little ring, it's only going to be good or beneficial for the person that's coming forward and putting pressure and needs you within reach, right? Like Benavidez, he plants his feet. He needs you close to hit him. Bivol can hit you bouncing. He can hit you when his feet is not on the ground, but he needs room. You give him room, you're not going to catch him. So I say it's the ring, man. It's like it's messed up and nobody would talk about it. But think about basketball. If they changed the height of the basketball rim, they made it shorter and everybody could dunk, right? Then like somebody really be real defense. Like everybody be goaltending. You know what I'm saying? Like it would change the whole way you played the game. Same with boxing. They've changed how you fight now. Like now it's almost like the amateurs because you scrapping the entire time in a little ass ring. Well, you know what? Not the amateurs. It's going backwards because if you're looking like the early 1930s, 40s, they had little rings. I always thought they had big rings. You look at pictures like Sugar Ray Robinson fighting or Muhammad Ali. Some of those rings look like a nice size, but some of these rings, man, were small ass rings. So I feel like it's kind of going backwards a little bit. You know?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. You bring up some great points. As far as Morrell, though, where
Yeah.
do you see Morrell going from here? You know what I thought about, right, Sugar?
Yeah. What's up? What's up?
Like, will Morrell's team wanna get that smoke with my man Sugar Sims?
No, because they want to get it at 168. So why would they want to get it at 175?
You guys were on a collision course to fight at 168?
I had a contract signed. I had a 2 fight deal to fight on PBC.
Really? And what happened, man? Why did that break down?
I fought on the same show as him, and I knocked the guy out, and I pointed at Morrell, and I was like, "You next." I never heard a word back. You know, I only took the fight on this card so I could fight him the second fight. You know, sometimes they give you a 2 fight deal, tune-up fights. You fight him, and here's your purse, blah blah blah. So I'm like, all right, 2 fight deal. I'm hype. I'm ready. Never a word back. Peep,
Yeah,
nothing. But you know, some of these boxing contracts, they're like that, you know. And it's not nothing personal, but in business, you have to have a way to protect yourself. So if you want to, it's always loopholes, to, you know, to get out of a contract or not have to fulfill an obligation. You know, I don't want my guy to fight this guy because of A, B, or C. That's the business. But I mean, I would love to fight Morrell, but would they roll those dice? You're thinking about it, he's coming off of an L. If he beats me, they say he's supposed to beat me. I knock him out or catch him slipping or, you know, catch him doing the stupid stuff he's doing, sitting on the ropes with your hands up like that. Like, I'm really gonna try to kill you. Well, not kill you, but you know, I'm really gonna try to
yeah,
get
no,
lost.
absolutely. You're gonna try to put him
But
out.
I don't think it would make sense for him to fight me. I would like to fight him. That's the fight I want. I would like to fight him. You know, I would fight Benavidez. I would fight all of these big guys at light heavyweight. Not so much because these are the big paydays, but because I'm a student of boxing. And as far as what I know now, I want to put it against the other biggest names out there. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time. You know, that's why I went to go spar Malik Zanad today. I'm like, I need to get that work. You spar Bivol. Let me get that work and see, you know, see if I can still do it at light heavyweight like I used to. I was like, oh yeah, like I miss light heavyweight. Yardy, Buatsi, Hot Rod, like these are fights I would like to make happen because styles make fights, and boxing needs that right now. We need these type of styles. I know you said the Benavidez Morrell matchup, like how we expected to go, but it's just really it's bittersweet because we had such high expectations.
For
You
sure.
know,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, for sure. I had Benavidez. I picked Benavidez to win that fight by late stoppage. And Morrell made it to the final bell on his 2 feet, on his own 2 feet. But yeah,
Yeah,
man, I'd be lying if I didn't think about that after the fight. I'm like, yo, man,
no.
my man Sugar need to be calling out Morrell. Get Morrell up in there, man.
It's like, man, I was doing that, and it's just like at this point, I let my managers handle that. I'm calling guys out, and I realized that no, they don't want to fight me. It's not about them even wanting to fight me. It's about what the manager's going to say, promoter's going to say. Is this a good fit for you? Is it a good matchup for you? And I was speaking to somebody, and they said something that made sense. You know, if you're going to fight me, who would you spar to get you ready for me? I don't know nobody that moves. You got to go get in a time machine, go fight somebody that moves like me because of how I move. You know, I fight the way I fight is a long lost art. You know, a few still fight that way. You see glimpses of it, but how you prepare for Black Sugar? They couldn't knock me out and get me out there on my worst day. My two losses came to myself, not so much the person in front of me. And when I walked out the ring, I didn't walk out busted up, bruised up, slapped down. Like no. So it's just like nobody wants to deal with that type of style right now. They either want you to come forward or somebody just moving and can't bust an egg. They don't want a boxer puncher. And
Nah,
that's the name of the game right now, you know?
that shit is sad. It really is. But the thing that I really got drawn on with your boxing style is there's a lot of people that can mimic Floyd or they try to mimic Floyd.
Yeah.
They try. Let me rephrase that. You see everybody trying to shoulder roll, you know what I mean,
Everybody.
right? But
Yeah,
not
everybody.
everybody tries to mimic guys like Ali that move, that can punch. That's your style.
I
You can
appreciate it, man.
you can
I didn't even
punch.
watch
You got
him.
a tremendous jab. One of
Right
the
on,
best
brother.
jabs I've seen.
I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. I've been rocking with you for a long time, ever
Yes,
since
sir.
way before I got you up on the show.
Yes, sir.
Uh, but But man, I gotta see you up in there, man. This is crazy, man. The inactivity must be killing you, but it's killing me too as a fan, man. What's going on with you? Any before we get into the other fights, anything planned in the near future? I was gonna wait till the end, but
No, you're good. You're good. Got some things in the works, man. Right now it's about speaking to the right person, right time, right place. Turkish Ali's coming through boxing and changing the whole way that boxing works, whether he's paying, buying up promoters and doing all the shows or having them all set or only putting fighters on cards that are already in contracts. So they're contractually obligated to put these certain fighters on. So it's just, talking to the right people. As of right now, I'm trying to fight at least by March, maybe April.
good. All
People
right.
are latest, but that's what's in the works right now. And as far as you talking about, Ali and guys like that, I never really studied Ali. And people don't believe it, but that's not somebody I really studied. I watched more stuff on him as far as him being a civil rights activist and standing up for his own beliefs and like all the people he's around. Even though he's a Muslim, he was with rabbis and he's with Muslims and he was with a whole bunch of Catholics. He's with everybody. So I watched him as far as that, but boxing I didn't really watch him too much. I think my style is more of a mixture of what I learned from Hank Johnson, Marvin Johnson's brother, 3-time light heavyweight champion of the world, or Roger Mayweather, Emmanuel Stewart Crunk. Just a mixture of, taking my height, my reach, and making it. I only know old school boxing. That's the only way I was taught. I only know how to tie my shoe this type of way. I can't tie my shoe another type of way. It feels weird.
For sure. For
Yeah,
sure. No, I get it, man. I get it. Shout out to my
yeah.
man. Shout out to my man Black Sugar Sims, man. He is in the building with me,
Hey,
man. We are breaking down the fights. That was the main event. Let's talk about the co-main event.
let's talk about it.
Because Sugar, I ain't gonna front. I gotta eat crow. All right.
All right, yeah, you
I
do. Yes,
love,
you
I
do.
love, and it's not because I didn't like. I've always been a Scooter fan. Stephen Fulton, Cool Boy Steph was his former teammate,
Yeah.
which I loved. I don't know why he changed it back to Scooter, but whatever. We'll give him
Hey,
that respect and call him Scooter. That's what he wants to be called. But
you understand it's a Philly thing, man. You wouldn't get it, man. You wouldn't get
okay,
unless you
I,
out there with the Johns, you wouldn't get it, dog.
listen, I'll take your word for it. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Um, but anyhow, I've always been a fan of his. But after that Inouye fight, and then his last fight, he won by split decision, but he got dropped. He didn't really look
Yeah.
good in his first fight at featherweight. Then you got Brandon Figueroa, who's a featherweight champion. I kind of looked at it as two guys on two different paths at this point in their career, right? Because the first fight was 3 years ago. I wish that fight would have happened right after the first one because it was a
Mhm.
banger, right? It was a fight of the year candidate. So I'm thinking that Brandon Figueroa is gonna cook. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking that Scooter's on going in a different direction. And then all of a sudden, my man comes in with the jorts, trunks, the Timberland boxing shoes, which by far are one of the that was amazing. I don't know if it's because I'm from New York City and he was rocking out that Northeast jorts with the Timberlands or whatever.
Hold
But
on, before you give him props, we gotta stop real quick because Scooter, my boy, right? But we got to bring attention to somebody else that started the trend. And that's Steven Nelson. He came out with Tupac with the boxers hanging outside the jeans. I watched him stitch that up inside Crawford's crib. So
okay,
I gotta give him his, you gotta give him his gratitude as far as that because I think he started that trend. I never seen nobody in blue jean shorts.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
right. He stayed with the boxers inside, but no, he went crazy with the whole East Coast Tims. My
It
wife being
was
from the Bronx, that was wild. I'm like, he got Tims on. Luckily, we saw the bottom. He's like, okay, they're not Tims. I thought he was really in there in Tims.
what I thought. I was like, yo, Scooter's not in there with Tim's. And I was like, yo, those are boxing shoes? Oh, shit.
No, because it
Incredible.
looked loose. You can see his ankle inside almost like how Tim's look. Because he had him tied up, and I was like, man, ain't no way he in there fight with Tim's. Like that hurt my meniscus and my ACL watching that. You know.
But he went in there, yo, and Scooter did his thing, man.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
He's now a two division
yeah.
champion. Shout out to him. He cooked Figueroa.
Oh, hey, he did, but you got to go to the
Break it down,
pedigree.
break it down, break it down,
Hey,
champ.
we got to go to his pedigree and where he's from and what makes him different than these other fighters. He, it's not a bad thing, but it's typical to write people off if they get knocked out. That's typical boxing right now because usually people get knocked out, they don't come back. But you look at old school fighters, especially fighters from Philly, they don't get knocked out and that's the end of it. No, you got guys like Frazier,
Great point.
Joe Frazier. Nah, Hopkins. R.I.P. Uh, 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 oh man, his name just slipped my mind. But his coach who passed away, brother Nassim Richardson.
Mm.
But he come, no, his coach Hamza. I've known Scooter since I was probably 7, 8 years old. Now I was fighting in Indiana, so when I fought regionals, I had to fight in Philly, and that's when I found out, like, man, them Philly cats are real slick and they tough. Like they really tough. East Coast cats is tough, but Philly fighters, you talking about real tough cats. So I knew that even when he got knocked out, he's gonna come back even stronger, like the old school fighters do. Now you don't really know if these guys will come back right. Jared Anderson, he's probably not gonna ever be the same because he's built his whole entire confidence off of beating guys, right? But
Right.
Steven, he got dropped. He rebuilt himself with his inner circle, and he went back to himself. That's why he switched his name back to his identity to himself. It's more of a mental thing than it was. People don't understand. Why is he switching his name back? He got knocked out. Why are you doing this? Hey, he's proving a point, not to just to the world, but to himself, because it was more mental how he went out than it was physical. He didn't get knocked out and get carried out in the stretcher. He got caught slipping in Japan, in a whole other country, in a whole other world, in somebody's backyard. So what he did, this is the equivalent. If you never fought in a fight, say a guy you don't like, you're gonna fight him. He went to his grandma's crib where that guy's whole family was at and fought him in his backyard, right? So either I'm winning the fight or y'all gonna jump me and stomp me out. Basically, that's what he went over there. He went over there and fought him in his backyard. So you got to take big balls to go and do that. Japan, he fought a puncher. This guy's an explosive banger, not just just not a normal puncher, but explosive banger.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to get, let's say, get dropped, get caught and come back the way he did, you got to really sit back and look at him like, wow, this guy's a freak. Like, he came back and made a statement, and he rolled the dice. The man sat on the ropes and whooped Brandon. It don't get no worse than that. You can whoop somebody going forward, but true class, if you whoop somebody's ass sitting on the ropes and tell them, no, come on, come to me. That's class.
That's
That's
great.
that's crazy. I mean, you live on the ropes, you die on the ropes. But to invite it, like, hey, come on, come get me. That shows class. There's never a time where I thought that Steven wasn't, in charge. And that type of fight right there too. That's the type of fight that Morrell should have fought against Benavidez. You should have had your hands just busy. You should have had your hands just busy. If you're gonna sit on the ropes, you can't just let somebody hit you 7, 8 times and not return. You got to trade. You got to know how to fight on the inside and sit in the pocket. And Fulton, man, he's cool with that kid. I don't that kid. He just going home just beat up,
Yeah, man. He got cooked, man. He got cooked. And
But
like I said,
still, yeah.
I said earlier last week in my live, I said I want Scooter to win. I just, the volume punching usually by Figueroa. I mean, that first fight was close.
Yeah, it's crazy fight. I mean,
Yeah.
the volume punching, but he learned how to smuggle it. You can't walk a fighter down and you smuggle them by letting them put pressure on you and just smuggle the pressure. Easier said than done, but it's a way to do it. You put your butt on the ropes and you bounce back and forth on the ropes and you catch the punches, take the heat off of it, and dig to the body every so often. Make them honest and buy you time so you're not sitting and fighting the full 3 minutes. A lot of times you just sit in the pocket. You let them little slaps come off. You ain't worried about that.
Mhm.
Brandon just let him burn himself out. Because at the end of the day, Roger Mayweather told me this. R.I.P. Skills pay the bills. Skills pay the bills. Benavidez, skills pay the bills. Fulton, skills pay the bills. Rosario, skills pay the bills. All those fights was the same. The same thing was. It came down to same height, same weight, similar reach, similar power, but who has the best knowledge? Who's going to make the adjustments? And all three of those guys did. But let's keep going. Let's keep it going, man. My fault. Let's keep it going.
No, no, you're good. You're good. You cooking. You
Yeah,
cooking. That's a
yeah,
great, great assessment. Congratulations to Scooter, man. Great victory.
yeah.
I can't wait to see him again now. You
Congratulations, Scoop, Minivan. Peace.
you already know how we do it up here at the hangout spot. I'm here with Anthony Sims Jr. You know how we do it up. Speaking of skills, the next fight. I don't know if that was more skill or that was just will.
Oh man.
You got Mexico against Mexico. You had Isaac Pitbull Cruz, Angel Fierro. I told my viewers last week that this fight could potentially steal the show based on styles because
Mm.
you already know what you're going to get from Pitbull, right? You're
Yeah,
going to get
yeah.
come forward. You're going to get looping shots. You're going to get, I mean, just relentless uh, power punching. And then Fierro, again, Mexican warrior. Um,
I got the matchup in my mind. It's gonna sound crazy, but when I say it, you probably see what I'm talking about. But that fight was like Chavez versus Alexis Arguello.
Okay.
Because you got a tall, lanky guy. Well, he's 140, but you got a guy sitting in the pocket trying to trade with a shorter guy underneath their ribs, and it was crazy because this guy he's standing in the pocket, but he's fighting off the back foot, but he's throwing bombs and he's getting caught. And Arguello will get caught. I mean, look at him fighting Aaron Pryor. Well,
Mhm.
that was the fight. Alexis Arguello, Aaron Pryor, they sitting there trading in the pocket, but I think Angel's in better shape to be able to fight on the back foot and then finish the fight going forward. I don't think people understand how hard that is. When you're fighting on the back foot, it's taking a lot of energy, especially somebody's putting pressure on you. But to go and become the aggressor, that's crazy.
Bro, I mean, Pitbull was cooking the first 3 rounds.
He was, but I'm like, man, he's hitting some crazy shots, but are they arm punches? And if they're not arm punches, are they powerful enough to hurt this guy? Because they didn't look like they were. Like when you see Joe McClellan hit somebody with a right hand, like a clean right hand, the difference was Joe McClellan's right hand is turning over like this, right? But I seen like Pitbull's right hands is coming like he was winging them. It was coming down.
He throws a lot of looping shots.
Yeah,
That's
looping
his
shots.
yeah.
That's his specialty. But I didn't feel like they were enough to really hurt this guy. I think some of them would catch him off, catch him on top and throw off his balance, but not enough to hurt him. I think he's too small for the weight class. I
Could
think
be.
I think he's too small for the weight class. Not taking nothing away from him. He's a dog. But similarity is Canelo going up to light heavyweight fighting Bivol. Canelo couldn't really do the damage like he would typically do somebody his size because of the reach, the difference in height. It's more adversity against you than it is, than it's going to help you. It's just, styles make fights, man. That's all boxing is. If I look at a fight right now, I can think of 2 or 3 more fights in my mind I've seen in the past that went exactly this way because when exactly this way, it went the opposite. So, yeah, Pitbull, he needs to go back down a weight, man, where he can be a bully and he can have less adversity against him as far as height and reach, I think.
That's something that I brought up, I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I said that
Yeah.
I thought he was too small for 140.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing about Pitbull, like I said, and shout out to Fierro, like I said, I think a
Yeah,
lot of
hey,
people thought that
yeah,
he was just going to be a sacrificial lamb for
yeah.
Pitbull. Because you know the deal. He's popular. They
But
want to market him. He's exciting. He's a crowd pleaser. But to me, champ, and tell me if I'm wrong, he's a one-trick pony. He's just a come forward, just throwing bombs. Like, honestly, I give him credit in this fight. At least he threw some jabs. He threw more jabs than I think I ever saw him throw in any other fight, especially against Rosario. He's always just trying to come in and trying to loop bombs. I mean, and Fierro took a lot of that, and he stood in the pocket with him, and he went back and forth. I mean, here we are at the beginning of February, and we got a fight of the year candidate already based on excitement. I thought the
mm-hmm.
scorecards were a little wide.
Yeah.
I
I think
mean,
it's way close to fight. It was like 108 to 118 or something crazy, right?
yeah, I mean, I got see, they had one judge had it 98-92. What is that? 8 rounds to 2?
What?
98-92, 97-93, and one judge had it 96-94.
I'm thinking another scorecard. Yeah. Wow, those should have been like maybe 1.2 point difference in round, if anything.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with Pitbull winning the fight, I
No,
guess.
no.
But that fight should have been a lot closer. I mean, I was going back and forth
Mhm.
with friends on text. There was one of my friends that said that he thought Pitbull cooked Fierro. I'm like, come on, man.
No,
Pitbull.
not even. He
Yeah,
couldn't.
nah, that
He
was a
couldn't.
close fight, man.
No, I mean he couldn't. He couldn't finish the job. There's times where he had him hurt, but he just wasn't big enough to close that gap.
That
Now,
was crazy.
man, anybody else now? Say another 140 pounder, like a serious full fledged 140 pounder, with something else too, man. You know what Angel had against him?
Talk to me.
What is one of the main things that Mexicans do really well that makes them dangerous? And they roll. They roll under punches, right? Now, at 140, how do you roll as a Mexican when you're used to being a shorter fighter and you fight somebody that's shorter than you? You can't. He was still rolling under a shorter fighter's punches. You know how dangerous that is, but that's hard to do. It's like you don't roll underneath Mike Tyson's hooks and uppercuts. You got to pull away from them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's what he was doing. That's the equivalent of what he was doing. He was rolling underneath Pitbull's punches. That's crazy.
That's a good point.
It changed the whole way you fight. If your whole style is built off of rolling, imagine Chavez really never fought nobody who was shorter than him, did he?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think most of the
Yeah.
guys Chavez fought were either his size or bigger than him. Yeah, no,
When
absolutely.
you fight somebody shorter than you may have the advantage as far as the reach, but you have the disadvantage as far as them rolling because you can't roll underneath a shorter fighter. Even when
That's
you go to their body, you have to bring yourself closer to them. Now you're at a disadvantage.
No, that's a great point. That's a great point. One of the things we got my man Miles Austin in the building. Hard work,
My word
dedication.
dedication.
That's how we do it up. Both of us, me and Sugar Sims. But so Pitbull is he? Because I'm again. These are the type of fighters that they're going to put him against, right? Because stylistically, it makes sense for him, but I just can't give him his due because why? He's shying away from boxers. I got to see this dude beat a boxer. You heard about like they offered him supposedly they offered him the Shakur fight. He didn't want it because
No,
it just
I mean the Shakur fight.
he didn't want the rematch with Rayo.
I think him saying no to Shakur fight is okay because Shakir is going to make it. He's just going to run the whole time, unless they make it a little ring. But he's not going to sign a contract to a little ring. That's the only
Right.
way. I think a fight between him and Javante again because that fight was hectic for Javante. That was hell for Javante. A pressure fight on the southpaw is always ugly, especially when the southpaw can't get away. I mean, Benavidez and Dave Morrell, not the same type of fight, but still that type of style. Pressure on southpaws. Camacho, Chavez.
Yeah. But Tank's supposedly Tank's hand was hurt that fight. He hurt his hand on hitting Pitbull in the head or something like that.
He probably did. You look at Pitbull's head, and he got like a little muscle around his head. His head reminds me of Marvin Hagler's head. He got muscles on his temples. So you gotta look at these things and realize like there's certain factors you look at a fighter, you're getting yourself into. You'll get yourself into certain problems. A guy with a big chin, he usually can take a punch. Guy with big heads can take a punch. Guys with big legs can punch. Guys is always doing shit like Crawford. He's always doing something. The man has crazy energy. It don't make any sense. Like Pacquiao, crazy energy. Don't make any sense. Just be able to move for 12 rounds. It's ridiculous. But these things you pick up when you start watching fighters. You look at them. Pitbull, he got big muscles like a pit bull on his head.
Is there any fighter that matches their nickname more than him? I mean, he literally is built like a pit bull.
Yeah, he really is.
And he fights like a dog. I mean, I give him that. He's
No,
entertaining.
if his name was Little Mike Tyson or Little Iron, like he earned every right of what his name is. He fights like if you think of Aztecs fighting to the death, that's how they probably did it. Like little Aztec warrior. That guy, somebody his own size, that's his world. But don't shy away from certain fights.
That's what I don't like.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. Like if again, it may not be a good fight for him stylistically, but get in there with Shakur. He's in your weight division if you're at 135.
I'm just not secure. That's not a fight you want to fight. It's like you fighting Andre Ward without the punching.
I hear that.
Without the punching, at least if Andre Ward traded with Kovalev or like something. He fought guy from Armenia, Abraham. That was a tough fight when Andre Ward fought him. He fought Carl Froch.
Carl Froch, yep.
Yeah, Carl Froch, yeah. He rolled the dice. But that type of style, Shakir style, like no. Even Floyd, it's like Floyd without the punching. Fighting on the back foot in a scary fight. When are you gonna give me the chance to trade? If you run the whole fight, what am I gonna do? You're running the whole fight, like the whole fight, the entire fight. Because and he's made. He's a good. He's sharp off the back foot. I give him that. Like he knows his shit. He made the Olympic team. He can really fight. But as far as trading with these guys, I feel like he's scared to.
Is it because he is defensively minded?
So no, I think he don't have a chin.
It is?
I don't think he has a chin. I'm saying that's a good way to be. Floyd said a good chin is a chin that don't get hit too often. That's a great chin. But the thing is, you don't know. It's like Devin Haney showed us. He has a chin, but he kind of don't have a chin. It's like Ryan Garcia, or was it Leonarez.
Linares hurt him.
Yeah,
Yep.
like no, you show little chinks in the armor. Jared Anderson. I don't know. You got that chin don't look too great. A lot of people too that doing the veneers thing. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but you got to think about it. When you have veneers in boxing, you can't really bite down. Adrian Broner, when he fought Blair to Flair, like his mouthpiece kept popping out. You can't bite down. You got these veneers. It's like things people got to take in consideration when you fight. Veneers, if you bite down on a piece of chicken or something, your teeth will break. You tell me you could bite down on a mouthpiece? You know?
Good point.
Everybody want to be like Floyd, though. Go be like Floyd there.
Yeah, no,
There's only one Floyd. It's only how he hand pad, how he fight, how he live his life. That's Floyd. Don't try to be like him. There's only one him.
I hear that.
Sean Gibbons knows
We got 93 Octane in the building. Yeah, Sean Gibbons knows what's going to happen if Pitbull jumps outside the comfort of PBC's yard.
Hey, spoken like somebody's on the inside. You got managers, promoters trying to protect their investment. That's the smart part of the business. But when it comes to the fans and the people that know boxing, we want to see certain matchups that need to happen. We know. Why didn't Canelo fight Benavidez? Not because I don't fight other Mexicans. He fought the dog. So, I mean, that's not a reason. Chavez, like that's not a reason. No. Did he fight Chavez Jr.?
Canelo? Yeah.
Canelo like you can't say you're not fighting Benavidez because he's Mexican. Like, no.
Well, that's another story because, like I said, that's a fight that's been much anticipated. They interviewed Canelo not that long ago, and he said that David's been disrespectful. Why should I give a guy who's
David's been disrespectful because he's talking shit like a boxer is?
Thank you, Sugar. Thank you. Like, what is Benavidez supposed to do, man? Call up Canelo. Excuse me, Mr. Alvarez. Can I please have a fight? Like, nah, this is boxing, dude. But first of all, he shouldn't even have to call him. He was the number one contender for that strap at 168.
And how you end up jumping to light heavyweight instead of fighting Benavidez, right? That's crazy.
At 175. Why won't he fight Benavidez at 168?
Why? Why not? You're avoiding them. Styles meet fights, and that type of style, everybody has a kryptonite. Thing is, can you adjust when they pull your kryptonite out? After you get hurt or they pull some shit out you don't like, can you adjust to it? And I don't think Canelo will be able to. Benavidez would just be all on him, Mexican boxing, just the pressure and just his whole being a Mexican legend. You don't want your way you going out as Benavidez just beating on you.
Absolutely, man. I mean, he's different. He's a different breed, man. But yeah, 93 Octane. Yeah, I think they're gonna try to match Pitbull up carefully with styles that match the entertainment factor, man.
140, he's too small, man. Like, who y'all fooling?
You know who I would like to see him fight at 140? My man Tito Mercado. I had him on last week.
Ooh, that'd be a good fight.
I had him on last week. He's undefeated. He's brash. He's calling everybody out. He was actually at that fight, and I DM'd him after that, and he was like, "Yo, I want Pitbull."
Tito Mercado, he's the guy that said he's gonna spread the gap between Shakir Stevenson's teeth.
Yeah, he's been going. I interviewed him last Tuesday, man. It was a pretty entertaining interview. He called out. He talked shit about Shakur, Tank, Keyshawn Davis. I mean, this kid wants to smoke.
Hey, but that type of kid, and you don't got to walk around with a whole bunch of security around him. Nobody gonna mess with him.
Nobody mess with him, man. He's like that. Like, he's not phony.
Yeah, that's what boxing
people are phony. Champ, you can tell the phony ones that just do it on the camera. You just tell dudes that are just like that, and he's like that. He called out Shakur right after that fight. He said, "I want to fight that punk right there."
Yeah, he said, "I'm gonna open up that gap in your mouth." Like, that's what you're supposed to do. I fought in Dubai. I won the WBA, and I called Rocky Fulton a pussy to his face at the time I wanted to fight him. Oh, you understand, room? You have this.
Bones 3.
Nah. Shout out to my wife for setting it up.
Nah, and we ain't even planned that, bro. But
hey, my man's a sharp. He paying attention to everything.
Yo, it's my viewers, bro. They all over it, man.
You got special viewers. I don't know if they FBI, special investigations, what.
Nah, man. You know what it is, Bones? Black Sugar. He got good taste. I gotta do. That's what it is.
Hey, I can dig that.
You know what I'm saying? But the last fight was Jeison Rosario against.
Man, that was
at 160. What do you think about that one?
tough fight to watch, man. Rosario, it's one of like them. It's like Maso Mano because he fights that way. He gets hit. That's how he is. That's nothing new. He takes damage. That's how he fights. But he has power, so you still give him the benefit of doubt. If he didn't have the power, then you just stop it as soon as he gets caught. But that's what Rosario does. He has the power to make it change the decision with a knockout. If they stop it too early, you can say yes or no. I'm gonna say yes, but I'm gonna say no too because one of the greatest I say individual I ever met, Patrick Day. I seen him pass away. Well, not pass away, but he got injured right in front of me in Chicago when I was fighting. And so they have stopped the fight before. Some say yeah, no, like he says, it's irrelevant. But it's just the fact that people get really hurt in this fight. So them stopping it, let this man go and live another day. So he can speak properly and have a good life outside of boxing. But yeah, RP my boy Patrick Day. Patrick Day is probably one of the most intellectual, sophisticated, just bright people I've met. I met him at press conference, the training session. I'm like, why are you boxing, man? Like, you mad cool, I was more rugged back then. I'm like, you mad cool. Like, you shouldn't be boxing. Like, you're not like us and all our people. We crazy, man. And he was like, I look at boxing as an art. And I can smile, I can fit in, I can groove. And I'm like, I like this guy. He's mad cool. But I think it's like if you're his people, you happy they stopped it. If you're on that side, you have that perspective, you have that emotion, you create a relationship with them, of course you're gonna be happy they stopped it because you don't see your people taking damage. But if you're on the other side, you want blood and you want gore, you want that fight to go on, So it's two perspectives. If you know them or if you don't, if you don't know them. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny you say that, champ, because I was okay with the stoppage, and a lot of it had to do with that. I
Boom.
met I met him at Pro Box in his last fight when he fought against Jared Hurt.
You met
Rosario. I was there. I
Oh
covered
yeah. Jared Hurt. That was an ugly fight too.
Yeah, that was the one at Pro Box. So I was covering that card. So after the fight, it was a draw. A lot of people
Yeah.
thought that Rosario potentially won. But
Uh-huh.
Rosario wasn't even mad at the draw because he came back from so much adversity. Like he had been out of boxing for a couple years and he was having a tough time in his life. So I'm talking to Bob Santos. Shout out to Bob Santos, his trainer. And he's telling me like this kid, they counted him out. He was going through a lot of personal shit. He basically came back begging, like, give me a second chance. I want to try to revive my career. And Bob Santos took him in. He said he trained like a warrior. He went out there, he fought his ass off, draw, whatever. But obviously that draw got him this fight. So it was almost like he wasn't even like Rosario wasn't mad because he felt like, damn, I made it back. So I don't
You
even
made it
care.
back.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, damn, I didn't want to see him take that punishment. Plus, you got to look at it. I think his last 4 fights,
Wars.
wars, and he got stopped. I believe in all of them, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you're right. For the fans watching this, I don't think they understand what it means for him to just be happy that he made it. Made it this far to show he still has it because y'all only see the fight night. You don't see the wars we have in these gyms. I mean, a lot of fighters
Absolutely.
leave their whole entire career in these gyms, and it's not. I say it's the coach's fault sometimes. Sometimes it's the fighter's fault. Sometimes it's the coach's fault because the coach is just pushing them in there and just got them banging out with all these guys. Or sometimes it's the fighter's fault because he don't speak up and say, I got a headache or I'm gonna chill out today. You're trying to prove something to the coach. But for fighters watching this too, you're not soft. You ain't no punk if you don't feel like sparring or if you're just not into it. If you're getting banged up and your head hurt, you getting bit off your tongue. There's a difference between being tough and a difference between being stupid. So for people watching this is boxing, it's a difference because being in these wars, I've been in millions and millions of wars since the age I was 6 years of age. But luckily the wars I was in, I was on the good side of it. You know what I mean? I wasn't really taking a lot of damage, but you got to think of how many fighters you get hit on a daily basis. That's how they're taught to fight. Rosario's when he's standing right in the pocket, and he's going to trade with you because he's fighting on his honor for himself to prove something. And these fighters are in countless wars, sparring sessions, the training sessions, making the weight, everything that comes with it, just to get in there and I did it, even though everybody counted me out, everybody wrote me off. fans don't understand that it's you only see the day that we fight, but you don't see what we have to do in the dark in order to get to the light. If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, you
Yeah.
nailed it, and that's why I love to have fighters yourself on here because it gives us a perspective of what the real boxing life is all about, and that's why I like working media as well because I'm backstage and I can see it.
You
It's
see it.
different.
You see it. It's like this is
It's
raw, yo.
totally different. What you guys go through, man, you guys are gladiators. You're risking your lives for our entertainment. So every fighter, that's why I've never been that type of person, champ, that calls any fighter a bum. No
Man,
fighter
thank
that
you. Thank you.
risk their lives should be
Thank
called
you.
a bum. I hate fans that do that. Like I walk away
Man,
from it,
thank you, dog.
but not people that know me, the closest to me, they'll tell
Yeah,
you the
yeah.
same thing. It's not cap.
No.
But and also the body, it's I don't think people realize that the human body realistically isn't built to take that type of punishment. Like
No, it's not. It's really not. You got to think about how crazy you have to be to turn off your senses and to go to danger versus pull away from it. To prepare for a war when your mind's telling you like maybe this could get you hurt. To go against all that, you have to be wired a certain way to do this. But I'm happy you said this too because me and my wife were just talking about this. I saw this interview with Ali where he was sitting there with Howard Cosell or somebody, and they were talking down about somebody in his weight class. It was a number 3 or number 4 seed. And Ali said, "How dare you talk about this man like he's any less than me? I'm first place, but best believe if he beats me, he's going to take my place. What makes you better than him? And what makes me better than him? I'm no different than him. I just lucked up and I won." But it's the fact that people can speak down on fighters. No one, if you were toe to toe with this same person, you wouldn't have the same energy. You wouldn't. Just because what? This is a fighter, let alone he can. Well, fighters fight for different things. Some fighters fight for the record, for recognition. Some fighters fight to just prove things to themselves. Some fighters fight to actually feed themselves. They're taking all L's. They know they're coming in and get knocked out. So for you to say, I say to say anything is crazy to me. I think it's like for me, it's like when someone speaks on how a fighter should fight or gives advice and never fought before, it's like giving advice on how somebody should do a tattoo, but you've never done a tattoo before. It's permanent, it's never going to leave, and it's painful. It's always going to be there. Same way with boxing. Whatever happens in that boxing ring, good or bad, it's in your skin. It's permanent. It's inked.
scar, yeah.
Right? It's scarred. Whether it's a good scar or bad scar.
Mhm.
So it's just like I can't stand that because we call fighters we talk shit about fighters, but as far as somebody really getting in that ring and leaving it all on the line like Rosario, can't speak bad about somebody who wears it. He wears it on his face. He wears what he's been through. He's a dog.
Yeah, I couldn't have said
Salute,
it better myself, man. Shout
salute
out.
to him, man. Salute to him. Salute to him
Yeah,
because
absolutely, man. You live to fight
hey,
another day.
there's a fight another day, and it's like they don't make him. He's another throwback fighter. They don't make fighters tough like that. Usually after 1 or 2 wars like that, they hang the gloves up. This man come back consecutively each time, not coming in there as an opponent. He's really trying to win.
Yep.
And he's leaving it all in there. He's going to die in there. That's what it's called, going out on your shield. Not like not Bernard Hopkins, but Ben Whitaker, or like these heavyweights I seen throw each other out the ring. Like that's not the way.
Oh, yesterday, right?
Man. Hey, Ben Whitaker started the trend, man. It's called quitting. He said, "You want to quit? Become Rey Mysterio. Put your Rey Mysterio mask on and flip somebody out the ring, yo."
That was nasty work yesterday, man. And I know Brandon
Nasty.
Moore is my guy from over
Hey,
here.
that's my boy too. I know Brandon. Yeah,
Brandon
he's solid.
trains,
Yeah,
at Winter Haven Boxing, which is like 15 minutes from the house.
yeah.
He represents Polk County, Lakeland, Winter Haven. That's my county here, so he's my guy. But man, that was nasty work, man. When that Skyler guy, I mean,
Hey, quit.
he should have been disqualified 2 rounds before that,
He
and it
should
would
have been. I mean, for the holding. I don't know
yeah
why the referee gave B the deducted point. I don't know if he's confused what he's watching, but I mean, it got to the point where he was screaming like, "Don't hold, don't hold." I ain't never seen that before, where somebody's screaming before they go to hold. You better not hold him. If I see you hold him one more time,
that
I'm
was
like,
Steve Willis, man. Steve Willis be out there.
hey man, Steve watching he be watching the opponents too. He don't miss nothing.
He got those big eyes. He be all into the fight.
Hey man, he be
But
all
you
in the
gotta
fight and he don't
appreciate it.
hide no expressions on his face. You see everything. The excitement. Ooh, somebody get caught a good shot. Ooh, break.
Yeah,
Hey, y'all good? The fight. Come on.
Exactly. But shout out to Rosario. He did it. Jesus Ramos did his thing. He did exactly what he needed to do. He
Yeah,
said he would be
he
going
did.
down to 154. There's a lot of smoke for him there. I don't know if 160 would be good for him. So
No,
I think
I think
that's a wise.
it's too much power. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he should go back to 154. I think a nice fight with him and Xander Zayas is something that I'm looking forward to in the future. But and then talk just real quick, touching on Claressa. Claressa was last night. I mean, what can you say about that? I mean,
I know Clarissa from like my crunk days. Like, I mean, Clarissa's cool. I just congratulations to her. You know, being the first heavyweight women's undisputed champion.
absolutely.
But I gotta say this, Clarissa. I wouldn't be me if I didn't say it. Not taking away nothing she did. So let me say that for the record, because for a woman to accomplish what she has is unheard of. What she's done for Flint, for her city, for her family, she's changing lives around her and creating opportunity. Got to bring attention to that. But the woman that she fought was 42 years old. Two, the woman she fought only had 5 fights. Now, I personally would like to see her fight Hannah Gabriel again, because that girl can, not girl, excuse me, that woman can fight.
Word.
And I've been keeping with her career. Her and my wife speak all the time, and like I became a fan of her, but I became a fan of her story. You know, you don't know her story. She they said she tested positive for a banned substance, but it was from like she had these little puppies, and these little pugs, whatever she had, you have to suck something out their nose when they're babies. You have to you have to inject them with some type of nasal spray, and then blow it, suck it out, make sure they're okay. Well, I guess she inhaled it. It wasn't like a PED to make her strong or anything, but it's a banned substance. She showed them paperwork, everything. They cleared her of it, but then she couldn't fight. She's supposed to fight Claressa. And the fight didn't happen. And I think it's a fight like I really want to see happen. Hannah Gabriel versus Claressa. Claressa, she did her thing, but as far as the competition, that girl, she had no business being, well, not girl, but that woman had no business being there with Claressa. If you looked at her when she first came out, I'm like, okay, she about to do something, but she was uncoordinated, kind of sloppy, swinging punches. Claressa seemed to be in charge the whole time, but you're supposed to be with somebody who has 5 fights.
Yeah.
And a 42-year-old woman. I say, not taking nothing away from Claressa. She did her thing. I don't want to sound like a hater, but if I'm being honest about boxing, they wouldn't let Layla Ali get by with that. Layla Ali had to fight the dog's whole weight class. So I feel like if she go and defend this title against Hannah Gabriel, then we can sit back and be like, okay, she did that shit.
But she did mention after the fight that would be a future fight. Her rematch of Franchon.
We were so happy about that, because I mean, it's been like maybe 1 or 2 years going on where Hannah's been trying to get back at it. Shout out to my girl Hannah Gabriel, talking about a big, strong country farm woman. She lives on the farm. She rests on oxes and carrying hay. Strong. Make me got to get my bicep game up. When she calls, she's like, "Hi, Anthony." I'm like, "Dang, girl."
Yeah, man.
But
that's real strength right there.
Real strength, like to my country farm strength. But that would be great. I say, but one more time, shout out to Claressa Shields, because she's bringing attention to women's boxing, and I think there should be more respect for her. Women, it's harder for them. It's easier for them to get a concussion than it is for men. They're not built to stand there and trade like how men are. So for her to do that and say what she represents, the line that she's pushing, she's always positive. She's always trying to do something for her city, for her community, for Michigan. That's that's dope.
No, absolutely. Shout out to all the females, man, that are out there doing it up. Her, I mean, Katie Taylor,
Savannah Marshall,
Franchon Cruz Zern, Hannah Gabriels. I mean, there's Fundora, Gabriela Fundora. I mean, woman boxing, man. It's it's popping. Yeah, I like it.
It's always been there, but it's like now it's getting the attention it deserves, because at least these women laid it all on the line. I can't say that about some of the fights I've seen the last couple of days. Like, did you leave it on the line? This woman fought to the end, got clipped.
The females come to fight, man. And I interviewed 2 weeks ago. I interviewed Christy Martin.
Wait, Christy Martin from Indiana?
Christy Martin from West Virginia, the one that was fighting on the Mike Tyson undercard.
Oh, yeah, my fault. I thought she was Indiana. Yeah, Christy
West
Martin.
Virginia. Too close.
She was knocking folks out.
I interviewed her a couple weeks ago. It was a fantastic interview. She was one of the original trailblazers. When she was boxing, women's boxing was more of a gimmick.
Yeah.
But she was blasting chicks out. So they were putting her on. Don King was putting her on Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar, Chavez undercards. It was a great interview. She talked about her Hall of Fame career. She talked about almost dying, because her husband almost killed her, her ex-husband.
Yeah.
Killed her. She talked
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
I saw that
Fantastic.
documentary.
Check it out.
There's a documentary she had, no?
There's a documentary on Netflix and
Yeah.
there's a movie coming out about her life supposedly later on this year. That's what she
Oh
told me.
yeah, I'm gonna be looking for that. I watched the documentary. That was great. That was a great documentary.
So check that out. You're gonna enjoy that. Like I said, she was a true OG in the game. James Toney's gym wars were legendary, but look at him now. Barely can complete coherent
Yeah.
sentences.
Now I gotta say something too. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but this is one of the negative parts of the game. People talk about sparring and banging out. When you fight slick style too, a lot of those punches you don't catch them. Some of them you catch them on top of your head. James Toney took a lot of punches to the backside of his head. And those gym wars, I say they're fights you're not getting paid for. Boxing may be.
You cut off, champ. If you are watching this live on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button.
You hear me now?
Visibility of the channel. Yeah, I got you back.
Okay. I was saying as far as I dropped this. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, James Toney. He he took a lot of punches to the back of your head, rolling the shoulder, but it's part of the game. That's why it's hit and don't get hit. But don't be in just wars you're not getting paid for. You look at NFL and NBA and MLB. When they practice, they're not going full out. Why? Because they're scared of their investment getting injured. When they practice, they stay sharp and they protect their investment. As a professional, you gotta look at yourself the same way. Go and get that work, of course, but just know you get in there. Some of the sparring sessions are fights you're not getting paid for. So pick your poison. That's what boxing is. You're in charge of your own career. When you hire a coach, coach don't we don't work for the coach. Coach works for you. So don't be scared to speak up if you feel like you're getting hit
That's
too
a
much.
great point.
Taking too much damage. That's the thing with boxing. Where boxing's changed a little bit. Boxers got to take back the power, and that comes with what? I'm the fighter. I'm the person that's risking it all. I should work away with the biggest part of it. The biggest piece of the pie. I say yes or no, and that's the parts missing in boxing. If you're having a headache, getting busted in the head, or you need, hey, speak up. It's real easier to talk than it is to fight. So just talk it out. Take control. Speak up, and don't be scared to ask why. I'm like this as a fighter. If a coach can't give me an answer, then I'm probably in the wrong place. It's as simple as that. If you can't give me a valid answer of why I'm doing it, how to do it, and when to do it, then you probably know what you're talking about. As a professional, what I'm saying, at the elite level.
Right.
But even if you're amateur or you're pro and you're building yourself, you got to make sure that you don't don't be stupid. That's what they say in boxing. Don't be stupid. Don't just say yes to everything, trying to please somebody. You guys got to be on the same accord. You guys got to be on the same page. And just know he works for you. You don't work for him. He gets paid when you fight. Right? He gets paid by you when you fight. You don't get paid by him when you fight. That's like, fighters got to remember that. It's the crazy thing with managers because, managers make a large amount of the purse. But a lot of times it's the fighter, it's the coaches with the fighter the majority of the time.
I hear that.
But then you got coaches who can't read contracts, You got coaches that are managers negotiating these contracts for you. Really don't know what they're looking at. So it's just like, it's you gotta pick your poison. That's all I can tell you. You gotta pick your poison. But in the same, the game is to be told, not to be sold. Well, the game is to be sold, not to be told. You gotta pay the price. But some things, I feel like as fighters, don't let that kid bump their head. Tell them. Let them know what's up. Let them know what they're walking themselves into before they get into it. I think boxing needs more of that. It's a lot of walking people to their deaths. Not they don't know what they're walking into. You can say Rosario is one of those fighters. He's probably been built up. They've been behind him, telling him he's going to be this, and this. As soon as he lost, they write him off and they make him a B-side and just put him in all these wars instead of investing in him and building him back up.
For sure.
That's a perfect example. You
gotta take care of your noodle, man. You gotta take care of your noodle.
That's it, man. No, I get it, man. That's why I love having you on. Like I said, getting a perspective of a professional fighter, it's invaluable. It's
And
invaluable.
I appreciate it. I'm not talking bad about the business. It's just you gotta be realistic about, you know.
Champ, we keep it real here. That's
That's
why me and you vibe. You know the deal. We keep it real.
yeah.
That's how we do it up here at the Hangout spot, man. We gotta give the viewers an honest perspective of the business and the fighters, and we don't have to do it in a disrespectful way. We just keeping it honest.
You can't
You know,
play boxing. You play basketball, play football. You don't play boxing.
can't play boxing, man. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. This was amazing as always. Uh,
Hey,
you family, man. I don't have to even invite you back, but
hey, we gotta start doing it once a week, man. I'm
let's
down to
do
do
it,
that.
man. Let's
Hey,
do it, man. I think my viewers love it. We love your perspective. I do 2 shows a week, but I could do a third one
hey,
where it could
let's
be
do it.
me. Just
Who we
get it
talking
popping.
about next week? Who and what we talking about next week? Ask the people what they want to hear about. Talk about.
All right, I'll put something out there. But we got fights. We got hella fights that are coming up. We got on the 14th. We got Keyshawn Davis is going to be fighting for his first world title against Barichek. That's on a Friday night in New York City.
Hey, what do you think about that?
I'm gonna break down this next week. Probably I'm gonna break down that fight. I think I
Um,
think
I
Keyshawn
think
is ready. Barichek is tough. This is going to be a tough matchup. But if Keyshawn is the goods,
is this Belichick the one that got dropped by Brandon Adams?
no. This is the Barichek is the one that beat Navarrete for the title.
Oh no, yeah,
Emmanuel Navarrete, the tall
that guy is yeah, Belichick. He's tough.
Ukrainian, tough. I
Yeah,
mean, this is a big step for Keyshawn. But again, if he's that guy that that he says he is, that the boxing world is hyping him up to be, he's got the skills. He's gonna have to pull this one out. And this is for his first world title. So we're gonna break that one down, as it gets closer. There's a lot of good fighters on that card as well. And
that's
then you got February 22nd, Riyadh season. Better be Bevo, the rematch. You got Shakur against Floyd Schofield. You got Daniel Dubois against Joseph
oh
Parker.
yeah, secure against Schofield. That fight right there. I don't know, man. It's just like I don't
We
know.
we we gonna break those down as it gets closer because that card, that Riyadh season card has 7 fights that could be main events. All 7 of those fights, and I think
That's a funny fight, man. Shakir Stevenson, that
we we go.
his dad, man. Don't get me started. We'll talk
Oh,
about that
yeah,
next.
we gonna. I'm gonna get you back on. I'm gonna get you back on.
Yeah,
We'll break that. We'll break that one down. But yeah. As it gets closer, we'll break that one down. But Champ, man, I love having you on, man. You family.
man,
You
thank you
are
for having me
family,
on,
man.
man. Your family, man. I like us creating this relationship, talking boxing, and just being able to be organic and let it flow.
You know how we do it up here. Where can my viewers find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram, 2_, the magician. I'm not really on any other. I'm on Twitter too a little bit, but mainly Instagram. That's the main thing right now. IG.
And once you get that fight announced, man, you got to come up in here. We got to talk about that.
Oh, I got to, man. I got to. But as far as everybody's watching, I'm not. I haven't fought right now by choice. I've been offered fights, but it's just I know my worth. I know the fights and the names I want to fight. And it's all about timing. Everything happens at the right time. Look at Crawford. Crawford's been fighting for a while. We didn't hear about him until what, his early 30s maybe. I'm
Mhm.
about to be 30. Like I'm just now in my prime. I feel like I'm in
Nah,
my
you good. There's definitely a lot of time, and you putting
yeah.
in that work.
Oh
And
no,
I see you putting out those videos. I'll be
man.
watching you.
I'm working, man. I'm working. So
I'm a fan. I'll be watching.
I appreciate it, dog. Well, I expect big things from me 2025. I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing. I'm manifesting and putting out all the energies and not cutting any corners. So.
I think 2025 is going to be a big year for my man Sugar Sims, baby. Anthony Sims Jr., light heavyweight contender, 23-2, 20 knockouts, 20 NyQuils. 2025, we going back to business, baby.
You got damn right.
Appreciate you, champ.
All right, brother.
All right, man. I'll hook up with wifey. We'll set something up again.
Let's do it, brother.
All right, man.
All right, peace.
So there you have it for my audience, man. You know, Black Sugar Sims, baby, in the building, spitting knowledge. You know, breaking down the fights with me. You know, I mean, we had a blast, man. We broke down this Saturday's card, and we're gonna be. I'm gonna have him here as a regular. You know, as a regular to help me break down fights or recap fights because I love his perspective and his knowledge and what he brings to the table as a professional fighter. And that's something that I want my audience to be able to understand. Like life is different inside, you know, the boxing world, right? We see it differently as fans, you know, as media members, podcasters, whatever the hell you want to call us, you know. But it's a totally different world. The business of boxing is a different world,
Okay.
you know. So to get that inside perspective from a guy who's done it ever since he was basically out of the womb,
Yeah.
you know, it's always an honor, like I said, and for you to show me that love, you know, I appreciate you.
Hey,
Appreciate you, Chief.
no thing, man. It's my job to tell you the difference between being 2 inches inside that ring and 2 inches outside of it.
You already know. You already know who we got here. We got Pimpin' Mexican in the building. Thank you for rocking out
Oh,
with us.
man, I saw that, man. I'm like, ain't no
Canelo versus
way,
Jake
man.
Paul.
Ain't no way.
Pimpin' Mexican, I don't know. I saw that too. Listen, I guess the next 48 hours we'll find out, but I mean, that's crazy. But if it's true, but
Shit, what's gonna happen next? The aliens gonna come out? Like, man, I'm
this
just.
is a fight that Canelo a couple years ago said he would never be interested in. And now here we are, fast forward 2 years later.
Hey, I guess everything got a price, I guess.
Listen, yeah, exactly. I mean, they're gonna get a bag thrown at them. So to answer your question, Pimpin' Mexican, I don't know. I saw that today.
Pimpin' Mexican.
Pimpin' Mexican. that's one of my viewers. I don't know. I'll do some digging tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get some confirmation on my next show. Right now, I'm looking at Thursday. We're gonna go Thursday as normal, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you get in. Right now, I'm looking at possibly bringing on Jose Benavidez Sr. You know,
Good.
I'm looking at getting Jose Sr. I've had him on. I've interviewed him before. I've actually interviewed him twice. I've never had him on a live show because I just started doing lives in December. So I'm looking at possibly Jose Benavidez Sr. I hit him up today. He said he would be with it, but again, we got to make sure that the time align because he's out in the West Coast Pacific Standard Time, and I'm going at 9. It'll be 6 over there. So we're trying to line that up. So make sure for my viewers, you have your notifications on it. Follow me on IG at the Hangout spot because that's where I put all my updates, my stories, you know, future guests, usually about 24 hours before my shows. I'll put out a link saying who's going to be my guest. Or if we rock out solo, sometimes we rock out solo and I get the chat that's cooking. You know, like the last 2 weeks on Thursday, we rocked out solo. The chat was cooking and we had an amazing show. So right now, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, potentially Jose Benavidez Sr. So we could talk about David's performance and more importantly, David's future in the light heavyweight division, which is where my man Anthony Sims fights also. So the future is definitely bright at 175. But anyhow, I'm gonna call it a wrap. This was a great show. I appreciate all my viewers for rocking out. Again, if you have not liked, make sure you like. If you have not subscribed, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. 2025, we're doing it up big here at the Hangout spot. But last but not least, I appreciate all the love and support from my viewers and followers. For Anthony Sims Jr., myself, this is your boy Johnny signing out from the Hangout spot live, and I will talk to everybody on Thursday.